Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Dookieshed, back with another Pokemon Top 10 video, yay! So a while back I made a top 10 video about the Pokemon I thought deserved evolutions in Pokemon X and Y. Now this was before those games came out, and before we even knew Mega Evolution existed, so things have changed a little bit since then. I still get comments on that video every day from these kind souls who have no idea how time works that feel the need to inform me that over half the things on the list did get Mega Evolutions. So I guess you could say I sorta called it. I'm always calling it. Anyway, since Mega Evolution is a thing, I thought it would be fun to give you guys my top 10 Pokemon that deserve Mega Evolutions. I've got different reasons for the various Pokemon on this list. Some are just old favorites that could use some attention, some I'd like to see be more competitively viable, and for some of them I have a completely random reason for wanting them to Mega Evolve. Just keep in mind that we could get Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire leaks literally any day now, so if something I put on this list gets a Mega and you're watching this video like a while after it was posted, don't flip the hell out on me because I put something on here that's confirmed to be getting a Mega. This is supposed to be fun, okay? Okay. On to the countdown! Number 10! Pyroar. One word, Manticore. I'm not gonna lie, Pyroar is a pretty disappointing Pokemon for a few reasons. We waited 6 generations for an actual lion, and this is what we get? This is just my opinion, but I think Pyroar's design is a little boring, and his stats and typing are pretty lackluster as well. And how should we fix this? Mega Evolution, of course! That's where the Manticore comes in. If you don't know what a Manticore is, it's a mythological creature with the body of a lion, wings like a dragon, and a scorpion tail. Badass, I know. This thing could be any combination of fire, normal, dragon, poison, or flying, but I guess it should keep fire type and maybe pick up dragon in place of normal, with the ability levitate? And of course, stat boosts all around. Solid Mega. Number 9! Luxray. I'd like to clear something up right off the bat here for those of you that were yelling at your screens when I said Pyroar was the first lion Pokemon. Luxray is not a lion. Lions have manes. Lions don't have anime hair. Luxray is a lynx. But that doesn't mean Luxray doesn't have one of the most badass designs of any Pokemon out there. That was a double negative, and I don't even give a shit because I'm trying to make a point. Anyway, aside from its design, Luxray is one of the only electric-type physical attack Pokemon, and he packs a killer move pool backed up by an impressive 120 attack stat. The problem? Speed. What good is a 120 attack stat when every Dugtrio that crosses your path just earthquakes you into the ground? I say Mega Evolve this feline into something ferocious, jack that speed up to a more threatening number, and make his attack stat absolutely horrifying. Number 8! Crobat. Unlike the previous 2 entries, I don't think there's anything wrong with this Pokemon at all. Crobat is honestly one of my favorite Pokemon, and that's exactly the reason I wanted to have a Mega Evolution. I mean, as it is, he's already got a great design and stats, and maybe I'm getting greedy here, but fuck it! Give him better stats, more wings, more teeth, more everything! Mega Crobat could be based on a Vampire Bat, and maybe even have an ability that returned a percentage of health when he deals damage or something. Sounds pretty overpowered, I know, but just think about Gale Wings and Protean, and then let's talk about overpowered. Number 7! Wailord. There's one reason and one reason alone I want to see Mega Wailord. It would be fucking huge. Or at least it better be. If Wailord ever gets a Mega and it's not any bigger, I'm gonna be severely disappointed. Stats? Don't care. Abilities? Don't care. Just make it enormous. There's actually some really cool fan art of Mega Wailord. Wanna see? Yeah. Number 6! Arcanine. Arcanine is in such a weird spot. It's known as the legendary Pokemon, even though it's not technically a legendary Pokemon or even a pseudo-legendary, and until Mega Bannet came along, it was the only Pokemon with a base stat total of 555. Its stats in general are very well-rounded. It's got a stellar design, and yet it doesn't really see that much play. So of course Mega Evolving it to give it better stats would solve that problem, but there's one other reason I want to see Mega Arcanine evolve. I think Mega Arcanine should have normal type added, so it gets a stab boost from extreme speed, just saying. Oh, and they might as well just make its base stat total 666, because not only would Arcanine be unique again, but also smoke meth, hail Satan! Number 5! Cradily. Do I even have to explain this one? Alright, well if you haven't seen my video entitled Cradily Will Fuck You Up, just click here and go watch it. But in all honesty, the whole reason I made that video about Cradily is because I used to use one competitively back in Generation 5. Her name was Ivy, and no one had the slightest clue what to do when they saw her. No one knew its stats, no one knew its types, no one knew what it could learn. Ivy would just sit there absorbing Draco meteors all day long. It was actually really hilarious because you could just see the opponent's desperation. They'd try one move, I'd set up rocks. They'd try another move, I'd toxic them. They'd switch back to the first move, I'd recover. I'd predict a switch and toxic the next thing. Stealth rock damage starts adding up. The problem was, once you knew how to deal with Cradily, i.e. punching it, it wasn't hard to do. That's where the Mega comes in. For real, Mega Cradily would be a monster of a wall. And just imagine all those dicks! Number 4! Raticate. Of all the useless rodent Pokemon Game Freak keeps throwing at us, Raticate is hands down my favorite, and I think most of you already knew that. It managed to make it onto my top 10 favorite Pokemon video, and I even named my late pet rat Scooter after my favorite Raticate from Blue version. So it should come as no surprise that I'd want Mega Raticate to be a thing. I definitely have a pretty clear vision of what I'd want this monster to look like. First off, it would be dark normal type, so I think the coloration would be more like Rattata's with the purple, and this thing would look pissed. Bigger teeth, dark shadows around the eyes, messier fur, and we're talking massive speed and attack stats, probably along with the strong jaw ability to further power up Stab, Hyper Fang, and Crunch. All of my yes. Number 3! Have your commie eyes ever seen a Pokemon more deserving of a Mega Evolution in your entire Sorry. Yeah, here's another Pokemon I did a video specifically for, and if you haven't seen it, just go ahead and click here and find out why Braviary is awesome. I'm realizing a lot of my top 10 faves are making it onto this list, but that's to be expected, I guess. This is a combination of me wanting Braviary to be more competitively viable and just straight fanboying. More attack, more speed, more stars and stripes, maybe an Uncle Sam hat. The important thing is, it gets more American. Fuck yeah! Number 2! Weavile. Weevil? I don't know. Weevil is so cool. It just barely falls short of my top 10 favorites, but there are a few Pokemon that could benefit from a Mega Evolution more than Weevil. This thing is already very solid, and I don't mean literally, because Weevil is actually incredibly fragile. What it's got going for it is a dangerous 120 attack stat, a blistering 125 in speed, and access to nasty stab moves like Ice Shard, Icicle Crash, Pursuit, and Night Slash. What it's got working against it is a long list of weaknesses. Poor Weavile is deathly allergic to rocks, bugs, fairies, fire, steel, and being punched. And by the way, why is Ice weak to fighting anyway? Have you ever tried to punch Ice? It tends to not work out so well for your hand. Anyway, Mega Weavile would need something to curb these weaknesses, either in a retyping or an ability. Weavile's frailty needs to be compensated for if it's gonna hold its own. But that's just my opinion. Number 1! Okay, I can do this. Nidoking. That's how you say it, right? I mean, I spent like 14 years saying Nidoking, and it wasn't until I read YouTube comments from you guys that I realized I had been saying it wrong. But anyway, can this OG get a Mega, please? I mean, I realize they probably wouldn't give one to Nidoking without giving one to Nidoqueen, which is fine, but I want to gush over Nidoking for a minute here. This has and always will be easily one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. It's just got so much going for it. A badass design, a terrifying cry, super useful typing, great abilities, an insanely diverse move pool. I see Mega Nidoking just being more than that. Bigger, spikier, more poisonous. It's one of those Pokemon that would be guaranteed a spot on my competitive team if only it had a little more firepower. But aside from that, it's always cool when Game Freak revisits a classic Pokemon and breathes new life into them with Mega Evolution. And there's not one I'd like to see this done with more than Nidoking. Hey, thanks for watching my video on the top 10 Mega Evolutions I think should exist. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up by clicking that like button, it really helps me out a lot. And make sure you leave a comment telling me what Mega Evolutions you would like to see. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, or I will kill you. Also, if you want to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, links to that are down in the description. And also, I have a gameplay channel with fellow YouTuber Nate Wants to Battle. We make fantastic, hilarious gameplay videos, if I do say so myself. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. We've got a really good Soul Silver Nuzlocke going. Think you guys would enjoy it. Go check it out. Just click on the link down there, description, I guess. I don't know. Bye!